Welcome to Full On Censorship Canada. Carney is trying to claim that he wants to protect Canada against hate speech and anti Semitism and everything else, but it is beginning of full on censorship. Canada already is full of propaganda, with them contributing to the CBC at 1.43. Actually, it's $1.45 billion now, and subsidizing the journalists. And now they want to start protecting you against social media and online presence and claiming it to be protecting Canada. You know, I saw Elon Musk here. He made a comment. They don't ban hate speech, they ban speech they hate. And that's a very, very key difference. And this is exactly what they're trying to do in Canada. Have a listen here to Carney talk about how he's going to protect Canadians against pretty much free.
American online platforms have become seas of racism, misogyny, anti-Semitism, Islamophobia, and hate in all its forms. And they're being used by criminals to harm our children. My government will act. And today we're announcing our plan to fight crime, to protect Canadians, and to build communities that are safe, secure, and strong. A plan to make Canada secure, to make Canada strong. American online.
Yeah. So that is apparently what he's going to help bring to Canada. But again, it's this just the bring propaganda machine. Here's like an excerpt from the National Post. It says most Canadians say Liberals falling short, but still approve of Carney's poll. But yet, you read down a little bit. 72% said they were disappointed with the progress of the government has made in tackling the cost of living crisis. Again, they didn't even get the propaganda straight, you know. And then you have the MP over here in Nova Scotia. I don't know if this precipitated this, but this guy, he is elected to be a conservative representative, and he decided to switch aisles at the last minute, and now he's getting threats online. But there's just absolutely no accountability. And again, they're going to push the propaganda that, oh, he's getting threats, and oh, but what are the real threats? And again, if you're not getting the speech that you like, then they will 100% start to censor it. And that's exactly what happened in the US. And that's when Elon Musk started taking over X. It was when the whole system changed. And that's when the whole political landscape was opened up to other people's point of view. And in Canada, because your whole media system is controlled by the government, it's really hard to get your word in edgewise. And I noticed there's a lot more content creators on X and Rebel News, and there's just a lot more information out there. But I really find that even with some of the comments that I'm getting on some of my videos, it's like I'm trying to give everybody like cold hard facts. Like, this is the fact. Like, Canada's GDP is like literally in the toilets. We're below Germany at this point. You know, it is dismal, and they just want to blame Trump, Trump, Trump. And I saw this little meme here. It's like it's Trump derangement syndrome. Canadians just want to blame Trump, Trump, Trump for everything. But the demise of Canada, especially economic growth, started way back in 2015, and that was way before Trump. And to keep blaming Trump for everything is not helping Canadians. It's You have to get to the crux of the problem. And I really truly believe with the propaganda machine the Liberals have going on for the last 10 years, they really keep the facts from people. They really don't want you to have the facts. That perfect example, they got it all kind of wrong in the National Post. They were trying to give you the facts, make it positive in the headline, but if you actually read even to the next paragraph down, you can see it literally contradicts what the headline was trying to say. You know, and again, even when the whole COVID thing was going on, the news that we were getting down here was completely different than the news that was going on in Canada with the truckers and everything else. It, it, it was just unbelievable. And I talked to one of my cousins in Canada, talking about the truckers and stuff, and they're going, "Oh my God, it's like they're horrible people." And I'm just like, "Who the hell are you talking to?" You know, but the news here, you couldn't have had one situation have two completely different perspectives. It was just unbelievable. So Canada, you know, they say, keep your elbows up. but keeps your head down, because that's literally what's happening with Canada. Like, unless you actually wake up and start looking around to see what is actually going on, you're gonna have your head in the sand. And that's exactly where they want you. They want censorship, and it's just going to get worse from here. So unless Canada starts taking their head up out of the sand and out of their ass, it's never going to change. And again, like I said, the comments that I get on some of my videos, every comment I have, I read every single comment, and I want them to be based on facts. And if you give me stats or like make specific points, I am going to fact check it. I will fact check everything, and I will not respond without fact checking myself, because unless Canada decides to look up and see like the sky is blue and come to the facts and reality of it all, it's never going to change. Trump is not the problem with Canada. There is more tariffs going on between province to province than there is from Canada and the United States. So you really got to turn around and look at yourselves. And Canada, for some reason, keeps voting back a Liberal government and expects things to change. I just don't get it. And I'm not saying that the Conservatives are perfect. I did another video. You can go back and see the video I did about the budget, but no one's perfect. But I can tell you that there has been a complete economic decline since 2015. The immigration has gotten out of control. You guys keep bringing in more and more immigrants, and there's not enough housing for them. It's like you got a sold out concert, and you just dumped 1,000 more people, 10,000 more people at the door with tickets, and like they want a seat, and it's just not going to happen. So, the cost of living has gotten outrageous. The cost of groceries is horrible. I wish I had a picture of it, but there's a lady, it was actually a video, and she was from Brampton, Ontario. She was in, I think it was like Mississippi or Missouri, I can't remember what state she was in, but she had a bag of carrots from Brampton, Ontario, and they were like $1. And she's like, "It's more expensive for me to buy these carrots in Ontario than it is down here in the States." So, I don't know what's going on, but what I do know for sure is that if Canada starts censoring more, it's going to be completely detrimental. It's just you're going to be stuck in this cesspool. My dad was a big reader of George Orwell, and I read, and I was, well, not that I was forced, but I read a lot of his books too. 1984, Animal Farm. It's very synonymous of what's going on right now. So I saw this. It seemed pretty fitting. Boy, did I call it or what? And it's exactly what's happening in Canada right now. It is a propaganda machine. They want to tell you what you need to know, and they don't want you to look any farther. And so what's happening, and I hope to God it happens in Canada, that there is starting to be a revolt in the United States. And the Nick Fuenteses of the world, who's this independent, he's a 27-year-old independent content creator, and he's super smart, and he's going against the status quo. He's not buying into the Israel bullshit. He's America first. I have 3 boys from 18 to 22. They all listen to him. And even the current mayoral race in New York City was pretty indicative of what's going on here in the United States. So you have this Mandami, who is a complete socialist, wins the election. But the biggest thing that he said in his whole campaign was that he was against Israel. And that's where everything is going. And I think Canadians need to decide what they stand for and what they stand for against. And from maybe it's just me or my own algorithm, but what I see a lot on X is that people are fed up with the Liberal government. I think those that really dig for the truth and dig for the facts are not pro-liberal, unless you, and a lot of people say it's the boomers. And it is the boomers, because my mom is one of them. There is no way you would have a conservative over here that says, "I'm going to make you the most luxury home in the world," and then you have the liberal over here, it's going to burn down the house. And my mom would be like, "No, I'm going with that guy because he's a liberal, and I will never vote conservative." So but the boomers are going to die off. So it's the younger generation that is going to move forward. And again, like most of the voters, like I said, in the New York City, the 45 and under really decided who that election was going to be won by. And in Canada, the boomers are going to die off. So the younger generation are really going to be indicative of how it's going to go moving forward. And I really truly believe that they are they someone my boys cannot afford a house in Toronto right now, ever. I don't think they ever could. So even our kids can't afford to live in the major cities that we grew up in. So at some point they're going to start revolting. My cousin's son, who was going to Peterborough University, and back in the summer, he's like, "Mom, I can't get a job." And he's like, "There's no, I'd have to go way up northern Ontario to even get a job. I can't get it because I can't get a job at a Tim Hortons. They would never hire me." And he's like part minority. His mom's Asian, his dad's white, but he looks white, but he's not Indian. So he's like, "Mom, I can't get a job at Tim Hortons." He's had such a hard time finding a job, and he's just outside of Toronto in Richmond Hill. But it's very interesting to see what's going on in Canada right now. The censorship is going to be even worse. Him protecting Canada is under the guise of, "I am going to censor you. I'm going to tell you what you can see and not see." Again, I'll pull this up. Elon Musk again. They wanna ban the speech that they hate, and that's exactly what they were doing. It's what they did here in the States, it's what they're gonna do to you in Canada, unless content creators keep talking, everybody keeps talking. It shouldn't be like, "I am Canadian," it needs to be, "We are Canadian," and we need to stand up for what the truth and the facts are, because them censoring even more online presence, it's not about the hate, it's about them. Why should Mark Carney decide what goes through your feed, what your algorithm should be? And they are going to control it. It's happening again, even with Elon Musk got rid of the censorship on X, but then you have Larry Ellison, who just bought TikTok, who is part of the whole IDF in Israel. So we'll see already now the algorithms changing in TikTok. So the Canadian government wanting to take control of your social media, it is the beginning of the end unless Canadians join together, literally get their head out of the sand or out of their ass and put their elbows down and get their head up. It's going to be disastrous for Canadians. You're never going to get out. And I feel bad for the Conservatives. I think Polyev is a really smart dude. I really think that he needs a chance. Let's see what Polyev can do. Who knows? Maybe you might be better off, because everything that I can see the Liberals are doing is a demise. It is a Canadian demise with the influx of immigration, the GDP at an all-time low. I see there's no win in sight. So why not try to give somebody else a try? I don't know. Just a thought. Let me know what you guys think. Thanks. Talk to you guys soon. Bye.